too bad. Nice fire pit and grill. Good spot to hang a hammock too. Good. I could try some of these. I can actually still see some hot coals from the previous people that were here. Must have been from the morning, or somebody stopped here for lunch. But I'll just use my lighter on that. So dinner, first night camping, always the best one. For today we got sausages with garlic bread. And I'll probably put some cheese on the garlic bread and maybe some green onion. That's the plan. Haven't eaten anything really since breakfast, so this is gonna be a big meal. Ooh, oh yeah. All right, now that I'm nice and dry, clean, put on some nice clean clothes, I will show what my plan is for the route. So I started off today in Kiosk Lake, and then I went south through the river and then camped at that campsite right there. Now tomorrow I've got a 1,300 meter portage into Manitou Lake, and then from there another portage into the east arm of North T Lake. I'll find a campsite over there. I'll then make my way down south into the Logren Creek. Big portages going into that. and then I'll be staying probably around Nod Lake or Bear to Owl Lake the next day. And then once I'm on the Nipissing River, there's going to be lots of rapids. Hopefully they're going to be runnable and I'm not going to need to wade a lot of them, but we'll see. But yeah, after that, I'm going to make my way through the Nipissing River all the way into Cedar Lake. Once I'm in Cedar Lake, I'll start to head north. And then I'll make my way back up north all the way back to Kiosk Lake. It's a pretty big loop, but I think it'll be pretty good. Just gonna boil up some water for some tea. A bit.
Chamomile.
Long drive today, paddle, getting all the way over here. Pretty tired. Probably just gonna finish this tea and then head to bed. Got some coffee and oatmeal. I'm gonna eat this, chug down the coffee, and get going into the first portage that's just across the lake there. Right by this portage, there's this massive beach. This is supposed to be angler's portage, by the way. I didn't catch any fish and I didn't see any fish. Got my rehydrated lasagna, put some extra cheese on there, and some green onions. So today we started in Manitou River, did the 1,300 meter portage, saw a bunch of beaches in here, in Manitou Lake. Very nice lake. And then there's the 460 portage, or going into the angler's portage, which is 580. That's the one that I decided to do. And then went into North T Lake. This is the east arm. I checked all of these campsites here and they were all full. And then I went up into the islands and checked these and those were all full. So then I ended up sitting at that campsite right there. Not the one next to the portage, but the one just next to that. That's where I'm at right now. canoeing into Manitou Lake. I am not seeing anybody here. Even the campsites weren't even taken. I have a feeling on the perimeter of the park there's going to be a lot more people, but as soon as I get into the Nipissing, I probably won't see anybody until I get into Cedar. That's my guess. That's what I hope. You know, this way that I'm carrying the bag, I'm just trying this out from somebody that I saw online, but it actually holds weight pretty well. I can adjust whether I want it to be sitting more on my hips or my back, and the top bag usually gets all wet from just being in the canoe, and it's actually given me a nice cooling effect on my neck. It's actually pretty good for portaging. It's way lighter than the canoe. This is a way easier lift. So this is Hornbeam Lake. And I'm pretty sure the only fish that you can catch in here is brook trout. There's a waterfall coming in and there's a waterfall coming out. So if I were to guess, this is potentially a pretty good spot to catch brook trout. I'm gonna go over to the waterfall and try it out. Nothing once again. That's very far away right now. The wind is blowing from him, so he can't really get a good sniff of me. Saw moose, complete. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of beaver dams. Portage. Nipissing River, complete. Best part about up, up, up means down, down, down. Oh, this is going to be a little sloppy. I definitely rehydrated with too much water. I am absolutely pooched. I think I got too much sun today and not enough water. Lots of long portages, but still a lot more to come. Tomorrow I hit the Nipissing River. Hopefully I can catch a brook trout, but I still got some travel to do tomorrow. There's a long 2-kilometer portage near the end that's through a bunch of rapids that I'm hoping I can just skip past by doing the rapids. If not, like wade kind of thing. But yeah, we'll see. Woke up this morning feeling very stiff. Probably gonna do some stretching before I head out, because just on the other side of this little pond here is another 2-kilometer portage that I need to do. I'm gonna go grab some food, make some oatmeal coffee, pack up the rest of my things, and then get to it. I keep this smaller pot inside of this bag just because when it's wet, if there's metal on metal, they rust, which I have already figured out, which I've scraped off by now, but this just kind of prevents that from happening. And then I keep this tool inside there as well, push it all down, and then put the lid on. Manitou Lake to Nipissing River, just about 2,000 meters. This is so much better than the Logren Creek. Like, no lily pads, no weeds that I'm fighting through. It's just smooth and wide. And I can just paddle. No dams yet, but I think there will be soon. If not today, maybe tomorrow. Why didn't I get the other paddle? There's going to be a lot of waiting here. But I think this still beats the portage. There's the portage. I'm gonna keep going though. I'm gonna risk it. Worst case scenario, just takes me way longer and I might have to bushwhack to get back onto the trail. But hopefully it saves time. Alright, this is the start of Allen Rapids. Do not run Allen Rapids in September. So that took right about an hour. I was basically just dragging my canoe through 2 kilometers of rocks and 2 inches of water. Honestly, if there was a little bit more water, it might have been doable. But the amount of water that there was, I was just dragging my boat through the entire thing. Do I regret it? I don't know. If my boat's okay, then I think it was worth it. Hopefully there's not too many deep scratches that'll actually impact the canoe's performance and I don't sink, but I think I saved time and I think it was less effort. That was a little steep. Oh, uh-oh. I can tell there's not many people who do this river. A lot of these portages are pretty rugged. And a lot of the campsites I've seen like haven't looked like they've had a fire in them recently. A lot of the put-ins, takeouts are pretty rough. Very overgrown. All right, I think this is camp. So this waterfall is right next to my campsite. So I'm gonna go swimming in it. All right, time to make some dinner. I'm having chili burritos again because I need to get rid of this cheese. It is not looking good right now. Oh yeah, that was perfect. All right, now for some dessert, I've got some popcorn. Alright, so break down what I did yesterday. I started off by camping at that campsite right there. And my day yesterday, I came from there through Manitou Lake into Bigger Lake, and then the long 2-kilometer portage into Logren Creek, and then down Lauren Harris Lake into Logren Lake, and then I camped right at that campsite right there where the 20-meter portage says. That's where I camped last night. So it was a pretty long day from all the way up there. Pretty far. Today, pretty good as well, but not as far. So from that campsite, I did the 1890 portage to get across, and then that brought me on to the Nipissing River, and then from there, followed the river down. I ended up just going through both of these rapids. Whether that was the smart thing to do, I don't know. My boat's looking okay. But I didn't have to do either one of those, so 370 and 2100. Didn't have to do those. I just pulled my boat through it all and then kept going down the Nipissing River, and now I'm on that campsite right there at Graham's Dam Rapids. That's where I'm at. I don't know if this is getting picked up on the camera, but the entire sky right now is just red from the sunset. It is pretty cold this morning. This is the coldest morning I've had so far. And it's only supposed to get colder on this trip. This is the longest day that I have though. I gotta cover the most distance today. So, same thing, cold cereal, cold coffee, and I'm gonna continue on throughout the portage. I just found some of this electrolyte Mio mix in my bag from another trip. It's almost done, but probably wouldn't be a bad idea for me to have some of that. I just caught my very first brook trout, and it looks amazing. All right, so there's brook trout in here. I just threw my rod in at the end of this portage here next to the river and got one. Was not a fighter, it's pretty small, but most brook trout are pretty small, so. There we go. First fish, and it was a brook trout. First ever brook trout. I did not get skunked this trip, and I completed my second goal to catch a brook trout. Pretty cool. So this next portage that we're coming up to, it's called Spring Camp, and it's ruins of an old World War II German prisoner of war camp. and apparently the walls are still there. There's wagons and like beds there. So it should just be in the middle of the portage, so hopefully I'll be able to see it there, but I'll take a little scout. I found a couple of these old buckets, and then I also found this area here. So you can see this used to be like an old stove. See the stove jack that would come out of the roof. You can see some of this. I'm not too sure what this is. I think it's a gate. You can see some of the chain link connected to the bottom one over here. It's kind of like some fenced in area. And then you can also see some of this, like actual pieces of wood with nails in it. But I was hoping to actually see some sort of like walls and a structure here. But I guess it's just too old. It all just kind of deteriorated. Still pretty cool. Beats all the other portages. I am canoeing with the current, with a tailwind. I feel like this is pretty much as fast as I could be going right now. Pretty good. It's actually pretty windy today, but because I'm in this meadow, I'm not really getting much of it, but depending on the direction of the river, because I just keep S-ing through it, every time I'm turning north, there's just crazy winds on me. Even though the waves aren't that big, and obviously there's no whitecaps in here, but just the amount of wind that hits the boat just makes me tilt a little bit. Not bad. All right, hammock's finally set up. There's a bit of a issue because this tree was so close to the head. So I kind of had to like just cut through the side there, and I am kind of helping support it with the stick here. But this is what it looks like. It's all right. Definitely could be better, but now just some hot chocolate as well. But it's getting super buggy out here, so I'm just gonna get into the hammock, ride it out until the morning, until tomorrow. So it looks like this rain isn't gonna stop for another 2 to 4 hours. For now, I'm just gonna chill. I didn't have much to paddle today anyways. It's supposed to only take about 4.5 hours or so. So, yeah. I'm just gonna chill in here. I'm only going to be able to get as much water out as I can, but there's definitely still going to be water in it. There's a bunch of water in it, I think. I'm going to put it in one of my spare dry bags, just so it doesn't make all of my other stuff wet. Even though there's already a lot of things that are already wet, but hopefully this should help keep everything a little drier. And look at that, by the time I get packed up, it's not even raining anymore. Now today's actually gonna be pretty much our last day on the Nipissing River. Today I'm supposed to finish right at the edge of the Nipissing River on right after the 930 meter portage. Pretty much going right on to Cedar Lake. So at that point the Nipissing River is pretty much done. And tomorrow morning, I'll just be canoeing straight onto Cedar Lake, which is pretty cool. It was a good river, pretty repetitive. I wish I could have fished more. I felt like I was a little rushed with the distance that I had to cover every day. But I think that's just kind of the route that I gave myself this time. I'm thinking a trip in the future might slow down a little bit and go for more of a fishing focused route. Relax, maybe give myself a day, break in between, that kind of thing. I can go and explore and go fishing. Not that I didn't like this trip at all. This trip's going well. Alright, so I'm here at my first portage, Pearly Dam Rapids. I think I'm gonna go for it though. Gonna have to wait all this. Nice. I just caught the that's a Laker, isn't it? See that? Whoa! Oh, it's a bass. It's a little smallie. Look at that. Little bass in here. I didn't think there was bass in these waters either. The heck? So I am approaching a lake called Moose Lake. And I haven't seen a moose this entire time on the Nipissing River. The only time I saw a moose was just before the Logren Creek. Now this is the first lake I've been to in 3 days. So it definitely feels pretty good getting out into a little bit of open water, even though it's still very small. It's still pretty much just like a pond, but it'll feel good. Maybe I can see a moose there. Well, no moose in Moose Lake. I wonder if the reason that I haven't seen any moose on the river is because a lot of the time the wind's been at my back, so it's been pushing my scent forward. So everywhere that I'm going, all of the animals are able to smell it and get away, basically. By the time that I get there, all of them have already been scared off. I'm not sure. Another 240 meter portage coming up, but I mean, it just looks like a shallow swift, so I think I'm just gonna run through it again. Probably have to wait it. Nice. What the heck are these fish? This is not a brook trout. Look at that. Oh, okay. Beautiful fish. Be delicious. All right, last portage and or wade of the day. I'm not too sure what I'm gonna do yet. Just gonna prep this fish first and throw it in a Ziploc. Look at that. Alright, I basically just took the head off, gutted it, took everything out on the inside, took off the fins, but I think that's going to be a lot of food. I think that's going to be good. Alright, the fish is in the bag, and I am now just going to bring all my stuff to the other side of the portage. There's 3 campsites over there that I could pretty much choose from. Yeah, so that's the plan. Woo. I think it is done. Right? That was really good. Just with salt. Wow. Dark chocolate, so good. I slept in a little bit longer than I wanted to. I'm going to be going on Big Cedar this morning, which is very exposed, and it's supposed to be super windy today with gusts up to 50 kilometers an hour. So I was trying to get out there early this morning. I ended up sleeping in a little bit longer than I wanted to. But that's fine. The winds shouldn't pick up for another couple hours anyway, so I'm going to try to pack up real quick and then get out there. A storm's coming, and I really don't want to be on Cedar Lake when that happens. Having a pretty nice tailwind on Cedar Lake. That's pretty nice. Whoa! A little bit of the sun's coming out. Good to see ya. This island on the north side of Cedar Lake, northwest side, There's this island that has remains of a cottage on it. The whole chimney and fireplace area are all still standing, which is pretty cool. I guess the whole house is made out of wood and it burnt down or decomposed, but the chimney and everything was made out of rock, so it stayed and it's all still intact, which is pretty cool. Cedar Lake access point is Brent Campground, and it actually used to be Brent Station for a train. And same thing for kiosk access point. It used to be a kiosk station, and there was a train that ran along here, and this bridge connects across so that the train can go across the water area. That doesn't look too great though. Oh, that looks a lot better though. Very cool. So now this is Laurel Lake. It's pretty cool. It has a few hills, which are cool to see on such a small lake. Here's another bridge for that train to come across. Chances of rain were 70% at 12 and then nothing for the rest of the day. It is now 3 o'clock and it's thunderstorming and it is absolutely pouring rain more than it has all day. Bright and beautiful now. Last portage of the trip. Little Mink into Kiosk Lake. So I'm just about at the access point here. This was a great trip. I accomplished all my goals. I caught brook trout, I ate it. It was fantastic. Saw moose, the wildlife was great. I did over 120 kilometers and 20 kilometers of portaging. A lot of that I skipped, but this was a great trip and I highly recommend it. If somebody is wanting to go to Algonquin Park and not see anybody for 5 days. I saw people for the first 2 days, and then after that, I'm now on day 7 and haven't seen somebody since day 3. So I haven't seen anybody for 5 days. 4 to 5 days. I consider that an accomplishment. This is a great trip. Until next time.